Julio Zamora, Sunday, September 9th. It's 2012. It's 6:20 in the afternoon. Um, let's go back to September 6th. I came in at 12:28, and I came back to work at 10:30 in the morning. My logs were perfect when I came in on the 6th from the 5th. I punched in late, or I forgot to punch in, whatever. I had a senior moment on the company time clock. I didn't take it serious because we have a no-fault attendance policy, and I had a verbal warning in 2009 or 2010, and I got 12 points, and I was on disability. So I didn't take it serious for whatever reason. Long story short, on December 6, 2010, the dispatcher took the time from the company time clock and changed my 12:28 to 12:41, which is the time I punched in on the company time clock. Then he took my 10:30 in the morning and he moved it to 11:15 in the morning. Is the time I went to check the time clock to see if I punched in or not. So that was the company time clock. So whatever I did, he came out to the conclusion that it was 11:15, and he changed my logs from 10:30 to 11:15, and 12:28 to 12:41. He took the time from the company time clock, which doesn't record anything on the logs in the tractor, on the data machine. Onboard recording device, 395.15 and 395.16. The machine is tamper-proof. No one's allowed to touch it, alter it, or do anything to it whatsoever. The logs are supposed to be exactly as they are when they come out of the master computer. It comes out with a logarithm sheet to verify everything is true and accurate. Now, if there's anything wrong with those logs, there's supposed to be a log correction in the remarks section stating what it is if there's anything wrong. If a log correction needs to be made. Well, none needed to be made for December 6, 2010. My logs were perfect. There was no log correction, and the driver needs to sign it to be true and correct, which it didn't happen because my logs were perfect when I came in. When I came in on the 7th, the dispatcher interrogated me. No shop steward present. Told me to sit down. The shop steward's on his way. That's about what happened. And then I went to see Mike Sadler, and we had our differences. The end doesn't justify the means, whatever. I don't think he understood that. So long story short, he sent me home. I asked to log out twice. I wasn't allowed to. They didn't let me log out, and I didn't find out until 2011 that it doesn't even show me on duty. 2011, January 10, 2011 is when I first saw the logs or anything to that of any paperwork or anything, what they were talking about. And also that's when I realized that that they didn't reply within 10 days. Now, Mr. Nicemonger knew that because I called him on the 16th, and he said they haven't responded. And then I got this document. I don't know exactly when I got it, but it was stamped Local 439, received December 17, 2010. It's not within 10 days. It's 400 drivers, almost 1,500 Teamsters down there. If it's not within 10 days, they're put back to work. Well, okay, they didn't put me back to work. They went on with the grievance. Well, that's that. We know that they should have put me back to work. What makes it problematic is the fact that they were given 10 days to prove their case. They didn't need to do that. They should have just put me back to work. But Mr. Nicemonger stated that in denial to the discharge and sent it to James Williams, transportation manager. So it was his responsibility to put me back to work, and they didn't do so. He also set the date and time for the hearing, which was January 11, 2011, at Safeway Distribution Center. They bypassed the Board of Adjustments. Why, I don't know. Why anything went further out, not within 10 days, I don't know. Anyway, that's what took place, and I didn't really receive any documents or anything what was going on until 2011. Communication with the union or anybody is very null. Very little, if any at all. No return phone calls or anything. So I had an offer of work signed October 10, 2010. I received it December 1st, 2010. I have the envelope. It's stamped, and I have it. I have a copy of it. When it came in from Arizona. I went to work on the 3rd, and on the 7th I was sent home. I had an accommodation on there, severe profound hearing impairment, which they didn't do anything about. That was just there. They didn't. I don't know if they took it serious or not. Okay, and then I had an FMLA. When they sent me home, I was on FMLA, and I had an offer of work good for 1 year. Guaranteed for 1 year, I should say. Okay, they sent me home anyway. They knew I had an FMLA. They could say they didn't know about the offer of work that was followed up by a QMA report stating I could work and that I needed a prescription drug now and then. I wasn't able to get it. I was just stripped of everything. They just sent me home. It took everything away from me. Medical. I had a lawsuit since 2002, class action suit. I never got no money. I don't know what happened to that. They took all my medical. I don't know what happened to that. I paid for lifetime medical, and I put the time in. I don't know what happened to that. This August 2012, I have 10 years. Now I got a second pension. I don't know what happened to that. Jesus Christ, man. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I hadn't been able to present documents or witnesses, even at workman's comp. Even my attorney says I'm guilty, but I keep telling him, you don't know what you're talking about, but he's not listening. He put it in writing. He said the way I got it is that I changed the starting time with my own hands. I altered them laws. That's the way I received the letter. That's the way it is. And he says, stop faxing me documents. So I sent all of that to the state. I sent them copies of everything. My attorney not listening, saying I'm guilty of workman's comp. I can't fight that. I mean, what am I going to do? I got an attorney representing me saying I'm guilty when I'm innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. And the fact that it should have been returned back to work within 10 days, but James Williams, the transportation manager, didn't do it. And he knew he should have done it, but he didn't do it. He didn't even take the time maybe to look at it. I don't know what he did, but somebody needs to ask him, and I hope the investigator asks him the question. Okay, so that's it. There isn't really much to talk about. I'm not going to elaborate on the time clock, except the fact that they took the time from the time clock, and they took the time from the time clock, and they changed my logs. And I'm going to end this tape by stating that the dispatcher falsified my logs on December 6, 2010. He changed it completely. He took the time from the company time clock and changed my logs. And the only thing I have to say about that, I don't know how anyone can intend to falsify a document that's already been falsified the day before. So by them accusing me and then not giving me nothing in writing, all I heard from Mike Sellers, we're going to look into it. Look into what? You need to even specify. I'm going to look into it. So I'm assuming it was the letter, but I mean, that's neither here or there, right? So I'm not even going to get into it. They didn't respond within 10 days. And how do you falsify something that's been falsified the day before and then interrogate you and tells you the shop steward's on his way without a shop steward being present? I don't understand that. And I don't understand why they didn't produce any evidence on December 25th, 2010. They didn't produce one document. Nothing. They didn't even bother to reply. And then James Williams sets the date and time for December 11, 2011. It's almost 30 days from December 6th. Supposed to respond within 10 days. What's this 30-day later thing? And then that they want to produce documents at the meeting, which I don't even know why even went on, when they didn't produce nothing on December 25th, 2010, according to the contract. So, you know, they didn't follow step 1 and step 2. Okay, that makes it final and binding. So I guess the state will have to get an interpretation of the contract, and that'll take care of that, and I'll be back to work. Now, what's going to happen to this dispatcher that's been working all this time, I don't know. I don't know. There's no doubt that he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm innocent, and I'm sitting here. They need to put me back to work, and I want to go back to work. There's no doubt about it. They don't even hesitate to ask me to go back to work, or do I want to go back? Of course I want to go back. I got a guarantee for 1 year. Okay, I got a QME to back it up. And I got an FMLA that says I need medical insurance, but they denied it. So they're complete. As far as workman's comp's concerned, when I get back there and finally get this thing heard, they're in violation of 132A from A to Z. I mean, I don't know how many times. And then I'm going to ask what happened to my harassment I filed. I haven't been able to get a verification on it since 2009. And I've been asking all the time. I've got documents saying here, hey, where's my harassment? I got 3 132As, severe profound hearing impairment. They're all there but the harassment. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe somebody took it away and are looking into it. I have no idea because nobody talks to me. But I need to be returned to work right away because my son just came home from the Air Force and he needs my support, as well as my daughter. So I need to be returned to work, and I'm in debt. They need to pay me 8 hours. After 8 hours of work, they need to pay me time and a half, 7 days a week. Okay, because the hospital gets time and a half after 8 hours, and I'm on call, standby, getting paid by the hour. I'm not driving the truck. I'm not getting paid by the mile. I'm getting paid by the hour. And he gets anything over 8 hours is time and a half. I should get time and a half, according to the contract. He's an OTR driver, okay, but he hustles. It doesn't take the OTR driver away because he hustles. He takes out a load once in a while, okay, and he still gets paid time and a half. So I should get the paid time and a half 7 days a week from December 7, 2010. From December 7, 2010, I've been on call and standby. So I should get it 7 days a week. Why? Because I've got almost 200 truck drivers underneath me in seniority. 200 truck drivers underneath me in seniority. Close to it. Very close to it. Okay? So they need to pay me 7 days a week. Okay? 14 hours a day. Okay? That's it. That's the bottom line. Until I go back to work. They have to pay it. That's the contract. And that's why I'm asking for the interpretation of the contract. Okay, now, and I'm willing to be corrected here. I always stand to be corrected. Nobody knows everything. Everybody makes mistakes. We're human. Okay, so that's it, I guess. I guess I need to be returned to work and paid time and a half or anything over 8 hours up to 14 hours a day for 7 days a week. Because it's a 24-hour operation. And there's almost 200 people underneath me, and I need to work first. Okay? And I'm not fired. Discharge was denied on December 17th. Should have been put back to work by almost 1,500 Teamsters at Tracy, California Safeway. Okay? So I need to get paid that. And they're going to scream, but hey, I didn't do anything wrong. They need to talk to that dispatcher, who changed all the time for taking the time out of the driver's room, that time clock, and changing the time on my logs. He's not supposed to do that without my permission. That's against the Department of Transportation regulation. Doesn't this man know that I'm on Department of Transportation for 24 hours? I don't think he does. He's not supposed to do anything. He's not... I don't know. All I know is I'm innocent. I need to be returned to work immediately. I got an FMLA. It's expired, but they still need to pay. They give my medical back, and they need to pay me the time and a half. Okay, and the clock is ticking, and I'm sitting there waiting to be called to work. I'm waiting to be called to work. I'm gonna fight this. I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway, that's that. They owe me 8 hours a day. After 8 hours, it's time and a half for 14 hours, 7 days a week. That's a lot of money. But I didn't do anything wrong. The dispatcher falsified and accused me of falsification, and I'm unable to obtain employment because of his false accusations. And it's true beyond a reasonable doubt. And I need to be returned to work. And also, I need my back pay for breaks and lunch. In 2002, we filed a class action suit. In 2002, I sent them a letter, and I didn't get any information other than don't worry about it. This is 2012, and I still haven't heard anything. So I don't know. I was told it was over $100,000, whether the drivers were lying to me or not, but that was a year ago. A year and a half ago, there was money in the fund for that. I never got a penny, and I never got a straight answer. So now we got a class action suit that I never got a letter or anything, an update. And here I was told by the drivers that a year ago or 2 years ago that it's up to $100,000 plus. So here they take my lawsuit money. All of a sudden, nobody gets a straight answer. They strip me of my lifetime medical. I lost my second pension. I had an offer of work for a year. They took that away. I don't know why they signed it and agreed to it with workman's comp if they're not going to keep their word. And then they broke the contract. They need to pay me. And I understand that if the state takes the case or whatever, I'm sure it's going to be a battle. But they're going to lose. There's no doubt they're going to lose. If nothing else, they're going to get a big fat penalty. They're going to get I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know what kind of penalty they're going to get, but you can guarantee it. And don't forget, I get interest. So this is climbing, and I keep rattling on because my concern is that my concern is that the guy falsified, okay, but I'm getting blamed for everything, and then I can't get a job, and now they're going to bitch about it because they have to pay me all this money and everything else, and why should they have to? They don't care if they violated a contract or broke an agreement with workman's comp, which is part of the state of California. I mean, they don't seem to agree to anything, even though they violated everything in a contract. So that's not my problem. That's why I'm saying I hope the state doesn't bail on me and fights these people back. Because what I'm saying is absolutely true beyond a reasonable doubt. He took the time from the time clock and he added it to my logs. He falsified them logs. And then he tried to say that I intended to falsify the logs because of a posting by Mike Sadler, the safety manager, that if you punch in late on the company time clock, you falsified the logs. And it has nothing to do with DOT. Okay, if you punch in late, you're supposed to get a verbal warning, but then he posted this thing. It's not company policy. It's a posting on a bulletin board policy. Now you got two policies. You got one policy. You got to follow the bulletin board, and if you're late, you get suspended for intent to falsify documents. And the clock's got nothing to do with the logs, but yet they're going to add to the logs, right? I mean, I don't know, but that's what they're doing. That's what he's doing, and I'm not lying. That's what he's doing. Okay, and then you got a company policy, no fault attendance policy. So which one is it? I mean, if we get intent to falsify the drivers, what about the guy, the hostler and the other Teamsters? Why is it two separate policies? Isn't it one good for one and good for all, one for all and all for one, or workplace fairness? I don't get it. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm singled out. I'm saying it's improper, and those are the facts, and we need a judge to decide. But most of all, we need the contract interpreted. So that's it. That's a true story. That's everything. I didn't do nothing wrong. They need to pay me. And Mike Sadler, I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna state the facts, okay? The transportation manager and Mike Sadler are responsible. So if they were looking at somebody to blame for all this money, they're going to have to pay me and put me back to work They need to look at them. They made a bad decision. They have to pay the price. Whatever corporate says is the price, that's what they're going to have to do. Because they're not going to let this slide. I know, not this kind of money. It's a lot of money. I haven't even figured it out yet, but it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds and thousands of dollars, and there's interest and penalties. So it's a serious matter. It isn't nothing to laugh about. You could believe they're following me, and you could believe they're going to the police department and getting my records and when I was born and who I kissed. You could believe it. They're going down everywhere they can to got to rub this case into my face. But they're not going to get nothing because I didn't do nothing. I've been married over 20 years. Got 2 beautiful kids. I got a dedicated wife, and, you know, I haven't done anything wrong, okay? Not falsifying, saying I've altered and falsified documents and make my identity, ruin my identity with my friends and people. You know, that's wrong. Defamation of character is what I'm talking about. I need to be returned to be cleared of all wrongdoing, especially that. So that's why I demand to be returned to work. I demand to be returned to work to clear myself of all wrongdoing. I think I have a right to do that. Whether Safeway likes it or not, I need to be returned to work. So that's it. That's all I have to say. And, you know, my wife, it's hard on my wife. And it's hard on my children. They're sacrificing big time. And I'm lucky to have an understanding wife that sticks by me. I tell you, I'm lucky I'm not divorced. I got to tell you. So anyway, we'll see what happens in court. But I hope I get back to work before I have to go to court because I need to help my family. Okay, that's it. This is Julio Zamora, Sunday, September 9. It's 6:45 and September 9, 2012, 6:45 p.m. God bless and take care. Enjoy your day. End of story.